Welcome to So Booking Cool. Here is part two of our interview with painter and illustrator Alvaro.
You mentioned stories earlier that inspire you and whatnot. Are there any books that you're a big fan of? Any authors that
There is
have
a book.
influenced? Ooh, I
There is
want
a
to hear
book
it.
I call my Bible. There are two of them. One is by, and I can go on about books, because I collect a lot of Marilyn Monroe books. I must have like 30 or 40 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I collect art books, photographer books. George Horrell, which was the guy that photographed all the Hollywood classic women. But there's a book that's my Bible. It's called Holy Terror. It's by Bob Colacello. He was Andy Warhol's assistant. And it's a hysterical book written by Bob Colacello. And it's just so great. You can go in it and laugh so hard, down to the part where one day there was this woman named Rosemary, and they were always making fun of her. And she had this baby that kept running around the apartment making all this noise. So one of them said to the other one, "That's Rosemary's baby." And then you just start screaming with little comments like that. But seeing how Andy Warhol, everything about who he hung out with and the things that he did and all of that stuff is very inspiring to me. So that it's by, like I said, Bob Colacello. That's my Bible. Everyone has that one book that takes them there.
Yeah.
And that one is mine. I would recommend it. And then my friend, a dear friend of mine, Constance Gibson, she wrote a book that I illustrated, the cover of She Can Go Where Pretty Girls Go. It's about transgendering from being a TV personality back in the 60s from her hometown into falling into the fashion world and then being in charge of the person that did all of Whitney Houston's makeup, becoming very successful with her company, Style Architect. It's a fascinating book because of all that, from being incarcerated to the parties and the scandals back when she was younger to, just such a really great read. As a matter of fact, like, I should get one out to you. You would laugh.
I would love to. Like, I'm hearing your recommendations. I'm like, I have to check this out.
You gotta read both of them, actually.
Yeah.
You gotta read both of them. But those are my favorite books.
And how was it illustrating for a book?
I've illustrated for quite some, I can't even remember how many books I have. I think the very first one I created for was the makeup artist Al Forney. I like him now, but he kept my check.
Oh.
He never paid me.
Oh my gosh.
They gave him my check, and he cashed it.
Oh my gosh, that's
There
horrible.
people have done stuff to you. Oh, I got him. I've confronted him at the Fashion Cafe when I was one night with Naomi. I confronted him and embarrassed him out loud. But the point is, these are the things that people will do to you in the industry, and this is why growing up where I grew up, gave you that hard shell. But it's not always, everything is not always dandy. People will try stuff. But I love that I worked with Iman. I did both her books. I've done artwork in both her books. And I'm in Naomi's new book, her latest book, her second book, because the first one I think was Baby Swan. It's a photo book, and I'm in that, and
That's awesome.
some other stuff. But I enjoy painting, I enjoy doing illustrations or paintings, anything. I love working with celebrities. I love working with models. It's just very hard to become friends with models because some of them become so me, selfish, and it can be heartbreaking at times. So I've learned to grow up and have my own life. A lot of it is reality, like a reality show. People think everything is always glamorous and all of this, but it's real. These people are real. They just happen to be, on covers and this and that, but they have the same issues. Love working with Mariah Carey.
Yeah,
That was another.
can we hear about that?
Love her.
Yeah.
I love her. She's so kind and giving and sweet. And when she first appeared on the scene, I told my sisters, I said, one day I'm going to work with her. I want to do work with her. And, it was her and Whitney Houston, those voices, can nobody sing like Whitney,
Mm-hmm.
And then Mariah Carey with that incredible sound and that voice and that she was able to write so many of those songs and all those number one hits. And I loved her, and I would always say, Mariah, 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 Mariah. And one day she called me. She had seen some work that I had done for a famous hairstylist salon in Florida, Oribe, that does all the celebrities. And I had done some work with him at Elizabeth Arden at the Red Door. And we're very good friends. And Mariah saw my mermaids, and she loves mermaids, as we all know.
Mm-hmm.
She called me, and I thought she was lying, that somebody was playing a trick on me. But she laughed, and she said, "No, it really is me." And then I almost fell off my bed. And she told me that she was a fan of mine, and I really thought it was a joke. And I did this big 11-foot painting for her home that she talked about on Cribs, but the painting wasn't finished yet.
Oh, it's in the episode of Cribs?
Yeah, when she goes into the mermaid room, she goes, "Oh, my painting is not finished yet." She meant me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was in her mermaid room. What I love about her is Mariah is like a little girl, and I gave her a lot of my Marilyn Monroe, because she loves Marilyn, and so do I. And Mariah bidded against from Sotheby's or Christie's Marilyn Monroe's piano, baby grand piano, that Frederick March, the actor from the 1930s, gave to Marilyn's mother, which was a film cutter. It was a little white baby grand piano, and he gave it to her, and Marilyn always played on that piano. And then as her mom was getting more mentally ill and she was going from foster home to foster home, the piano got given away to something somewhere, but Marilyn signed it underneath, like scratched it. So she knew that it was hers. And she said, one day when I become famous, I'm going to find that piano and I'm going to buy it back, which she did. And she had it until she died. So Mariah had her eyes set on that piano since forever. Mm-hmm. And she got to buy Marilyn's piano. I was so thrilled that my best Marilyn Monroe memorabilia, the fabulous plates and the most expensive, even the collection of the Marilyn Monroe TV guides that I had, I went to Mariah's home and I said, "Here, you got to have these." She was so ecstatic, and she put them on her piano. She goes, "I have the things you gave me on Marilyn's piano." So I just had this a round connection. I felt like I had a piece of the connection with Marilyn for a moment, because I love Marilyn. And but Mariah is just funny and sweet. She walked into the room, and I almost went blinded with the diamonds on her shoes. I got blinded. She got dressed up like Hollywood style, like back in the 50s, just to go to the movies with the brat. I thought it was the most genius thing I'd ever seen. I'm talking about down to she had hair people come in and everything just to go to the movies. Do you know how fabulous that is? That you can live that way? When you work so hard, you can treat yourself to fun. This is what you work hard for. Mm-hmm. But I've never seen someone get glamorized like the big stars used to do back in the day just to go to a movie. I love that stuff. I love when women get girly.
Yeah,
I love that. And, I always tell my friends, if you're going to go to the supermarket, put on a little mascara and lipstick. Put on some high heels. Just go looking cute. I'm so bad.
Yeah, I like that as well. I think, yeah. I mean, I can't even really describe it, but I see what you mean. Like, there's something that's so appealing and glamorous about, just dolling yourself up. Right?
Dolling up. It doesn't take much to put a little gloss on and just pull the hair, just snatch it back. You never know, because that may be that husband that you met or that partner that you met. You never know. Mm-hmm. You never know.
It's very true. You never know.
You just never know. To tell Rashumba, Rashumba, the model?
Rashumba, the model? Oh.
Rashumba Williams. I used to always tell her when I would hang out with her, when we would step out, fix the makeup up. If you're going to run to the store, just put on a little bit of, always, wherever you go, always look glamorous, especially since you're always being looked at and someone's going to photograph you. You always want to look your best. I just think that women, it's fun if they can always, kick it up a little bit. No matter what size you are, it doesn't matter. All women are beautiful. But clean it up. Pull that hair back and be glamorous, I like to tell people.
What are your thoughts on the new age of models and stuff, and with with social media? Like, how do you feel about
I
it?
think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it's great because you know what? I love evolution. There's always going to be evolution. One day they're going to be saying, oh my God, what's going on now? I mean, I wish back in the 70s we had that. And I wish that these kids today, they have all of this social media stuff. When we were kids, we had to read Dick and Jane and watch Gumby and Josie and the Pussycats and Saturday Kung Fu things on TV, which was fun. But we would probably go like, duh, we weren't smart enough. We were, but I mean, we had to learn everything from books. And then if you had to make a phone call, you had to do the rotisserie. The phone with that you had to like roll like that. 1, 7, 1, and you hear it go. I mean, goodness. Today, everything is out there. More information. I think kids are smarter. It's also a little dangerous for the young people, but I think it's great that models are doing this. They're not supermodels, in my opinion, like Naomi, Christy, Linda, and Tatiana, and Beverly Peel and Tyra Banks. Those are real supermodels. These girls were the real thing. These new girls, they don't all have the individual personalities. They were so individual. Cindy Crawford, oh my God. These women had individual personalities, and you can tell them apart so easily. I said to my partner many years ago, I love watching the Housewives, all of them. And Nana, I love Nene, and I love Teresa from Jersey. And I was watching the L.A. ones, Beverly Hills Housewives, and I saw these two young girls that were the daughter of what's her name, the daughters of what's her name that was married.
Yolanda Hadid?
Yes.
Okay.
And I see these two young girls, and I told my partner, I said, there it is. And he said, what? I said, see those two right there? They were young. I said, those are going to bring back covers and supermodels. This is before the mother was even saying that her daughter was going to do a photo shoot with her daughter to see if she can model Gigi. I said, she's going to be the first one. Gigi's going to be the one that's going to be the pop one. And her younger sister is going to be the beautiful one, the one with the face that more high fashion. He says, are you sure they're just young? I said, no, look at those faces. Look at them. There's something about them that's going to bring back the supermodel. With all the social media and all this stuff, it's a whole different thing. There are millions of people following these women. These models back in the day, they had to do it all by footwork, go-sees and all of that. They got covers, but they had to do all the work. Today, it's all different. Right. I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, Kim Kardashian, how many people does she have following her? Oh, my
God. Over 100.
100 million and something.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, two.
I'm not going to mention Kanye. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be nice.
But you know what? And obviously, I don't have the eye that you have. I don't have the expertise. But, I didn't see Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid like early like how you did. I was late to the game, I would say. But when I did, I was like, wow, they've given me
They were modeling already, right?
Yeah, they were already. Right. But I was just like, wow, they really look like supermodels, though.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. They looked like the girls did back then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They would have fit in with those girls. And I was right about the younger sister. She became the more high fashion one. And Naomi adored her so much that Naomi took her under her wings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so Naomi's very friendly with her. She's friendly with both of them, but Naomi's very friendly with Bella, which is really funny because I never told Naomi, she's going to be this and that. I never said that. She just saw it herself, and I told my partner, I said, I told you, every time we walk by somewhere and we see both of them, or I see Bella on these fabulous magazine covers, I always throw it at him, and I go, didn't I tell you? And he goes, oh, right already. I said, and then when we're walking, we see like a billboard or something, and I poke at his shoulder, and then I look up, I put my finger like that, and I don't say anything, I just go, look. And then he goes, ugh. I just love doing that because I always said that they were going to be that huge. And I'm proud of them. I've never met them, but I'm proud of them.
How important do you think the walk is?
100%.
Okay.
We went through a period in, I believe, 1995, 95, 96, and 97, where the girls were trotting. All the girls looked alike. They didn't have any personalities. They were too thin, and they looked like they were stringy-haired, all blondish. It was something that they all looked like clones from a Twilight Zone kind of thing, and they were trotting like horses. And then if they were wearing a gown, they would trot like horses where the knee would get in front of the other knee and the other knee, and they would do that walk. So if they're wearing a gown, the gown would just kick up, and they were killing the silhouette of the dress. This went on for a while, and I told Gail O'Neill, Gail, isn't this awful? I don't know if you know Gail O'Neill, the model, another supermodel. Mm-hmm. If you see their photos, you go, oh, my God, yes. Right. Anyway, it was awful. You know, Naomi's a genius. But Naomi came that way, you know, and that she was a ballerina, you know, since she was a little girl. And that walk, nobody walks like Naomi. Nobody. Mm-hmm. Nobody. It's going to take a long time before someone can get that strut. It's a strut. She's a Black Panther. She's this fabulous animal coming down the runway. Yeah, catwalk.
Is that something that has to be done naturally, or can that be mastered?
It can be taught. It can be taught. People like Jay Alexander. You ever watch America's Next Top Model?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well, Miss J. Well, both Mr. J and Miss J are both my very dear close friends. But Miss J will take you in an hour and teach you how to walk. It's like you know, everybody can learn how to sing if you get the right voice coach. You know, some people like Miss J, you know, can get someone. You just have to be patient. And you have to relax. But walking is very important. It's always been very important since back in the 1920s. It's a certain walk. The 60s had a special moment with walk. The 70s. Pat Cleveland used to dance down the stage. The women from the 70s were the ice princesses. They were different from the cover girls. These women used to glide down you couldn't even see their feet touching the ground. I mean, they would glide.
Wow.
It was magic. And in the early 80s, and then came the animals. I call them the sexy animals that became super, super, super big. I call them my girls, because I came in. Antonio died in 1987. Right. I was devastated for a whole year. And then, just as I was pulling myself together, I met Naomi, because I saw her first on the cover of Taxi magazine. She was 14. And I told my best friend, I'm going to be friends with her. I said, I'm going to go out, because I did a little bit of modeling. I said, I'm going to be friends with her. And I became friends with her, but it was through a lie.
Yeah, I read that story. I
lied to her.
But then you did it.
Because I just loved her so much, and I just thought that she was going to be the biggest thing ever. And I was right about it. See, I know, like Joy Bryant, you know the actress Joy Bryant?
Yes.
I found her on the street.
Oh.
I swear I did.
Yeah, I believe you.
On 8th Street and 6th Avenue, right in front of the bookstore, right across the street from the Papaya, Frankfurter Place.
Is it the Strand bookstore or something else?
It's not Strand, it's the other one. The other one that's... No, Strand is... This one is the more higher level store. There's one here on 80-something Street on the west side.
Gotcha.
It started with a B. I forgot the name of it. But she was waiting outside for a ride to go back to school. I think she was going to Connecticut. And, I mean, not everybody can take credit for your career. You know, so I can't say that I completely discovered her. But I was her first push. I saw her, and I walked up to her, and I grabbed her by the arm, because I thought she was Beverly Johnson's daughter, Anunza. Because she looks like a baby Beverly Johnson, Joy. And she jumped. I said, oh, no, please, don't worry. I'm not trying to scare you. Are you modeling? Do you model? Do you act? And she says, well, I'm going to school right now and this and that. And she says some other stuff. You know, I'm not going to say the whole conversation. And then I said, I promise you that if you come to New York and you hang out with me, I'll introduce you to people and I'll show you how to walk. I'll show you a couple of things, and then, you know, we'll throw you out there. And she took me up. She called me. She came to New York. She hung out with me, and we would go up and down the hallways, walking all night and just hanging out. And all this stuff. And then she went and got an agent, and I put her in a fashion show in a nightclub of all things. And I pointed out to her and I told everybody in the audience, there were like 2,000 people, I said, this is going to be a big star, this one right here. And I kept pointing. And she's looking at me like, stop it. I said, okay. And turned around in less than 2 months, she got the cover of Essence. She got Tommy Hilfiger. She got Ralph Lauren.
Wow. Yeah.
And then she got, what's his name? The great actor that did Antoine Fisher.
Oh, yeah, Derek Lewis?
Washington. What's his name? No. Our great actor.
Oh, Denzel.
Denzel Washington saw her because she did like this little clip in Spider-Man the movie, like where she's like looking up at the sky. And I saw her in a couple of things, and I was like, and then she did Honey, the film.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, which is I love that film. And then she did the great film Antoine Fisher. She got the lead role.
Mm-hmm.
And then she went boom, and she had that TV show, and she's doing great.
Yeah, she was also in Carmen Hip Opera, right? I remember that too. Yeah.
So beautiful, and she's so real, and she's like one of us, you know. She's just got that thing. It's just, and she's beautiful and sweet, but I swear I grabbed her on the street.
You know what? Do you think you have an eye for these like stars? It dates back to your childhood because.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I answered that fast before you even went there, because I get asked all the time, but every year when I watch like the beauty contests from Miss America, ever since I was a kid, I would always look at all the girls, all 50 or whatever, come out, do the lineup when they come out, and they say their names, and I always would go, that one's going to win, or I would choose the 5, and then from the 5 top, and then usually 4 or 3 of them would get to the top, and I said, this is the one that's going to win. I've always looked at someone and saw if they had the it factor. Mm-hmm. I can't say I was always 100% right, but I've chosen a lot of the ones that I knew were going to be. Said the same thing about Cindy Crawford's daughter, but that was a given. You know, I mean, when it's given to you, and then you look like your mom, and then she's that tall, and she actually models very well. I said when she was a little girl, Kaya is going to be a big star. But
Kaya.
I do have the eye. I can tell when someone is going to go there. Mm-hmm.
I mean, honestly, I think, you know, if I'm just putting my 2 cents in, I also think that Kendall Jenner, like, I think she has like a look of potential to be.
She's already gone there.
Yeah.
She did a beautiful cover for Elle magazine that was mind-blowing. You know, I'm not a huge fan of her as a model, but I have to be honest, I do like her, and I like Kim Kardashian. I hear that she's very kind to people. When I hear that you're kind, I like you. You know, I don't like her husband. I don't think he's talented. I don't know why he's famous. I think ever since his mom unfortunately passed away, he's lost his mind. Kanye, that's my opinion. A lot of people may get upset with me about that. But that's when people are blind, and like when the people love the president so much, even when he says that he wants to grab a woman by a certain area, or he says all these things, and then these people say, oh, but the economy and all this stuff, but they don't care if he walks around murdering people as long as their check is a little higher. Mm-hmm. I don't admire people like that. And Kanye, to me, just, if he just wasn't like that and didn't brag about himself and didn't say things that he did and insult people and all of that. But, you know, I was going to draw him as Uncle Tom, but I said, don't go there, Alvaro. Sorry for being honest.
Right, yeah, you know.
I'm sorry for being honest. I mean, you might be a huge fan of his, and I'm saying this, and I'm not trying to hurt your feelings or anyone.
No. Listen, you are entitled to your opinion. It doesn't matter if others agree, because you're just saying it's not like you're bashing him or anything. You're not doing that.
No, I just don't like it.
I liked his like older music, like his first 2 albums I think are great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'm not sure. Like, things have taken a turn, I feel.
I don't think that you necessarily have to call yourself a genius. Let other people do that. Don't call yourself a god, which he has done. You know, don't do those things. You know what God is?
Right, yeah. I mean,
he'll take you out. You're supposed to be God-fearing. Don't call yourself God. A god.
Absolutely.
And I love God, sorry, so
Hey, amen to that.
I love God. I think to him every day. Sometimes I tell him off because I'm upset and I'm in a cranky mood. But I think that I think he knows I'm not trying to be, But I do. I go off a little bit sometimes.
I want to know your thoughts, Alvaro, on manifestation.
Okay.
Yeah, because it seems like to me that you've spoken things into existence, but you also have the talent, the drive, the skills, and all that to back it up. But what's your opinion though on it?
I can go on about. Can you give me an example of something specific?
Oh yeah, sure. So I'm really talking about especially somebody who wants to pursue a certain dream, a passion of theirs. And some people say, oh, right, like if someone was to say, I'm going to write down that I will become a successful painter. I will become, a painter who is in, various media outlets, that kind of thing.
I don't really, never even thought of it. I never even really thought of that. I know that for me, and I hope I can answer this right because I don't really understand if it has anything to do with theory or if it has anything to do with realization. Mm-hmm. If I'm making any sense, I'm not sure if anything has to be, how do I word this without getting it wrong? If anything has to be built from the beginning on what's been expected. Does that make sense?
I think I can see what you're saying. Like go with it.
Yeah, I don't see things that are purposely built. Mm-hmm. I don't see things that are purposely built from. It's like if you plan something. If I were to plan something from the beginning, which I have, and help it to grow, I wouldn't actually think that it was something that was completely planned as much as I felt that it was something that was meant to be. Does that make sense?
No, it does make sense.
I've always believed in the natural part of something. Mm-hmm. I always believe, like, for instance, you and I were meant to, like, when I say that I was going to work with someone and I planned it from the beginning, it wasn't as much the plan really as much as I actually foresaw it. I actually, but I didn't want to tell you was when you were asking me a question earlier, I don't know if you believe in this, but I am a little psychic since I was 12 years old. Okay. That's probably helped me sometimes to choose who a winner was and not. I mean, I've literally told people, pick up your phone, it's going to ring, and it rings.
Wow.
Okay. I have that gift. So as far as manifestation, I don't know if it's, for me, it's different because I come from a place where a lot of people don't understand. I mean, I sometimes have walked my dog on the street and I've seen my dog run towards this older dog with an old Jewish sweet man with a little thing on his head, the yarmulke, I think you call it, and then the dog will turn to my dog and my dog would jump. Her name is Garbo. I named her after Greta Garbo, the actress. And when she runs off, I turn around to apologize to the man. This happened. This is right after I watched Gone with the Wind for the 200th time. I turn around to apologize to the man, and he's gone, and the dog is gone. Now, when you have to live a life like that, it's a whole different reality from the norm. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. I know it sounds like hocus pocus, but it's not. And it's something that's always been sort of a burden to me because I don't want this gift. I think I got a little too much deeper than I should have, but it's something that it sort of tortures you.
And it's not something that can be released.
No. Sometimes it's stronger than others. And it really, really happens. It's real. It's real. It's real. I have told certain friends, I'm not going to mention their names because then it's getting very personal, but I've actually said, congratulations, you're going to have a baby. It's going to be a girl. It's going to be born under the sign Leo, and the name is going to start with such and such, and then it happens. Little things like that. So, and Antonio knew that I had that gift. Do you believe in psychics? I know you're the interviewer, but do you believe it's like a...
Yeah,
No,
yeah, I do believe in it. I haven't like ever gone to one myself, but I do believe it. I think with everything that happens in life as well, and not even that, not even the extremities of life, but just, I think very few things in life are impossible, you know? And I don't, yeah, so it doesn't surprise me.
Now that this came up and you had asked me about one question that I turned into this and why there are certain questions that I can't answer.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because of this. But now that I spilled the beans, and I'm hoping that I'm not boring you because I love that we're talking more about reality than we are about art.
Right.
Because it's so much more important to get inside the artist than about the physical of the art. Mm-hmm. But to go inside the artist, and you're very good because you're very good at what you do because you pull that out. And
thank you.
This is probably the most wonderful interview I've ever had because you've dug in and you've let the art surface around, but you went inside. And I wish more people would do that with people that are very emotional and passionate. There are many of us out here, but sometimes people don't penetrate enough to feel, because it's really about the artist, not the work, which is the reason why the work is created, right?
Yes, yeah.
And you did that.
You know, and
you got me talking about me being a sidekick. I don't want people to think that I'm witchy poo. You know, I don't want people to think. A lot of people know now, okay? Yeah. They'll know now. But a lot of people that know me personally know this about me. They sometimes call me and ask me questions. And when you ask me a question, I can't see things. They have to come to me. I'll call a friend at 4 o'clock in the morning and tell them, this is what you're wearing. You're sitting on this. You're doing that with your leg, or you're doing, and they're like, wait a minute. Little tiny things, about the phone call that they're going to get by a man at the morning. Don't take that job because that one is going to be affiliated with this person. Stuff like that. I don't do it all the time, but I do it with certain people that I connect with. I can say some stuff about you that you don't want to know right now. I'm messing with you, okay? You went like,
you have me curious, though.
I'm messing with you. Right. From your voice and your energy, I probably can. But it's a torture. It's a torture. Every painter has had their thing, you know. I'm not trying to be Van Gogh here and be nuts, but it's a torture, and it's real. And this is what I have to live with.
What is your advice for others who have to live with it as well? Everyone
is different.
True.
You know, I see more positive things than I have seen negative things. Mm-hmm. I can give warnings to people, but I remember walking down the street with my friend Aubin on 910, and we went to get beers or something. It was late at night. It was 11:30 at night, and we're walking. I remember this. I said something is wrong, and then this delivery guy had gotten hit by a car. He was okay, but the bike was mangled or something. And then I stopped, and Aubin was what? And she knew because I told her about her child, some things about her childhood. And I looked up at the sky, and I said, something is coming from the sky, and it's not going to be good. It's tomorrow. This night was 9:10. It wasn't 12 o'clock yet. Mm-hmm. The next day was 9:11. And the next morning I woke up, a friend called me frantically, put on the news, and
9/11.
I knew about Aaliyah, that she was going to pass away on the 25th.
What?
I swear.
Like,
since you're interviewing me and you're going in deep, right? I might as well show who I am, right? Is that okay?
It is. It's perfectly okay. And you know, but if there's something that, but if there's something that you don't want to get out, then I understand.
Yeah, no, I don't mind talking about it, but I did. When my cover of Aaliyah that I did for Vibe magazine, I always thank Emil Wilbekin for giving me that cover. I went in, you know, to show my portfolio and they had all these portfolios, and when I was told that I got the job, I calmly walked out of there, and then I started jumping, crying on the phone because I was happy to do her. I didn't do her the way that I wanted to do. I was directed on how to do her, and I wanted to copy the cartoon that was out on her. There was a cartoon on her about a competition for a car or something. Mm-hmm. I wanted to capture that kind of look because it was what was happening at the moment. when my friend, the cover came out immediately. It came out in August, early August, and my friend said, "I have a surprise for you. I'm coming over to the studio." And when he came in, I opened the door. He said, "Close your eyes." And when I closed my eyes, I was expecting the cover to come out in 2 weeks. And when I opened my eyes, it was the cover of her, and she looked like she was crying. She looked very sad. She looked like the cartoon. With the outfit, I would have positioned her differently, but it's always good to listen to your art directors. You got to do what your clients want. And I looked at it, and I opened it right away to the credits, and it was on page 25. Now, the book doesn't have 25 on the page, but if you count it from the first page, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 25. That's where, it talks about illustrated by, Aaliyah by Alvaro. And I looked all the way down, and I said to my friend, I said, "Something is wrong with this date." He said, "What do you mean?" And he knew about me. I said, "Something is very wrong with this date. Something is not right. There's something that's very sad about this date." Anyway, one day I was watching Betty Davis on TV. It was August, and a friend of mine, Starlight, called me and said, "Alvaro, I have something bad to tell you. Please put on CNN." This was August 25th. I put it on, and it says Aaliyah's airplane went down, and she was killed.
Oh, my gosh.
You're quiet.
Wow,
you were like, I did not expect this interview to go in this direction, but you're talking to a real artist, sweetheart.
Right. Yeah,
So
no, I feel honored, yeah.
You're talking to the real stuff. I'm not talking about pretty drawings and why I painted Picassos for my show and, why I did that to Basquiat and this. You're talking to the artist, and then when you think about the art and when you see all of it, and then you think about what I said, and then you think about my career with Antonio and that I saw it since I was a kid, and I said I was going to. When you put it all together, then you find the artist.
Yeah.
And what you did was that you found me. And many of the people that have interviewed me did not find me. They talked about the fluffy stuff, and we got into the conversation of fluffy stuff, and I'm rambling a lot, and you probably edited or whatever, but you got in. And I'm glad I finally opened. At my age, I'm glad I opened up.
Yeah, I am too, because it helps.
I'm hoping that I didn't bore you.
Listen, this has been incredible, Alvaro. Are you kidding me? I'm never going to forget this interview. And, it's like you're a joy to talk. First of all, I could talk to you forever, I feel, on my end.
Thank you.
And
I'm very comfortable with you. That's probably why. You're very good. I just feel like I'm talking to an old friend.
Yeah, and we'll meet up. Like we have to.
Yeah, we will, but we won't have a 40, okay?
Okay. Yeah, because I have to say I don't drink.
Well, that's why I just said we won't have a 40.
Yeah. That's why you said, because you knew that? You knew that.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. So you knew that.
Now you're getting me. What do you think I was saying? God. We won't have a...
Oh, my God.
Example. Example.
Oh, my God.
So there.
Wow.
But, yeah. I can't wait for the show. I can't wait to show these. I can't wait to see what people will see what I did of Picasso.
Yes.
I did a 6-foot portrait of Picasso. I did the 7-foot portrait of Basquiat. I painted a long time ago Aunt Jemima on the cover of Vogue because Aunt Jemima deserves to have a Vogue cover.
Yeah, wow.
And I did her with a bandana, and I know back in the early 80s, a lot of black folk were very upset about her having a bandana on because it was too mammy-ish. But, we love Aunt Jemima the way she was growing up. Mm-hmm. And then they gave her Jerry curls, and I'm like, well, couldn't you have styled her hair differently? I was like that. Back in the 80s, I was like, no, don't take Aunt Jemima away. But I understood, because of all that was going on politically, as always, that a lot of people were upset about it. But I always said, can you at least leave Aunt Jemima alone? So I painted her on the cover of Vogue. I did this painting of Frida Kahlo and some really fun stuff.
You Lady Gaga, Donald Trump too. I saw that, right, with the hair.
Well, I did one of him being spanked by the Pope. I don't know if you saw that one. But I did Donald Trump with 3 6s on his head.
Right, yeah, that was the one, 666.
Yeah, that'll be in the show. Those are just illustrations. My other real paintings will be in the show. So, but everything is different. It's like different personalities come out of me because of these emotions that I go through and these visions, and then I become a different artist. I swear it's like Sybil. You should call me Sybil. You know Sybil, the movie with Sally Field from the 70s?
Yeah, I've always heard of it.
Sybil. Okay. You can call me Sybil sometimes. and I'll get it.
Okay.
But I'm not psycho and mean. I'm just, but I make fun of myself because you got to laugh at yourself.
And you know what? You do. I'm also so glad too that we've gotten to have this conversation, because one of the things I wanted to ask is, like, as a consumer, what is like the right way to look at art? Like, what should you be looking for and stuff, But like when you mentioned getting inside the artist's head and all that, and yeah, that's...
And you did it. You broke that wall, but you did it so, like, I knew you. It was just like I was talking to you yesterday, and we just la 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 la, and I broke away from talking about my art. I don't like explaining my art. Mm-hmm. I always tell people it's self-explanatory. And although I'm rambling a lot, since it is an interview about me, I'm not a selfish person, me, that's like me. But since it's that, I'm trying to explain things about myself in order for you to really get me.
Right.
And why. I'm no special from anyone else. Remember what I said about Michael Jackson and all those people? We're all human, okay? I do have a gift. We all have a gift. We are all special. This one happens to be my gift. That's what it is. You got in, and you got to hear reasons. That's why I love to read about that. That's why Holy Terror is my favorite book. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love Van Gogh. Van Gogh was so complicated. It was real. You've heard of Vincent van Gogh, right?
No.
The painter Vincent van Gogh? Okay. When you see his work and when you hear about him, he's the one that cut his ear off. You never heard of that? The artist that cut his ear off?
I did hear about that. So that was
him. He had...
Oh, wow.
Not psychic. He had mental problems. And his brother, Theo, which was an art dealer, couldn't even sell any. He only sold one painting of his brother's. And no one thought that Vincent van Gogh was going to ever be anything, and that made him suffer even more. Women didn't like him. He only had one woman that he was involved with that was a call girl with a baby, her own baby, not his. He got a lot of going on in his head, and then he cut his ear off and all this other stuff, but at the end, he so-called shot himself and he killed himself. But the truth is that there was 2 kids that were out in the field when he was out painting, and they had a gun and they were playing around with a gun, and it went off and it shot him. He wanted to protect those kids from being incarcerated and getting in trouble, so he said that he shot himself.
Oh.
This story came out because it was it was written about, but everybody wanted to over-dramatize it. That he killed himself. No, 2 kids were playing with a gun. Not many people know. This is what I don't like, when people don't tell you the real story.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to see you get that TV show or that program. I want you to get, because you've got that special something.
Well, thank you. I that's what I want. Like, I would love for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say nothing, okay? You heard me go, I'm so ghetto, right? Shoo.
No, not really.
As real as it gets.
Yes, as real as it gets. Yes.
People think that because I draw pretty things and beautiful models and I've been around all these famous people and all this stuff, man, I'm, like I said, and I said it, I went out and got me a 40. Hey, that's why they're in the store, right? For somebody to buy them.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I like to keep it like what it is, and then go back to being chic sometimes.
Alvaro,
you're gonna get your stuff, but you already got it. But you've got it's all in front of you. It's all in front of you.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that we had this interview. Oh, this is incredible. By the way, Alvaro, also, it was because of the energy that you greeted me with, like, from when I called too. So you made it easy to, to kind of like
when
go
I first
there.
called you before I walked my dog?
Yeah. Like you already had like this vibrant, warm and energy.
Thank you.
So it was like
That's me.
it was
That's
easy for me to
me.
work with. Yeah. So I want to thank you for that as well.
You're very welcomed. Very, very welcomed. Always, always. This was really wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, Alvaro. And I would, love to have you come on again because would you write
Absolutely. Let me know when.
Good. Oh,
And
of course.
I'm here.
And would you write a book about your life?
I've been asked that many, many times. I wouldn't write the book about the life. I would write it about the art.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Only because it would be a picture book.
Ooh.
So it would just be about the art because no one's going to want to know about me. Not yet, in that sense. I'd probably have to throw myself over a roof or something, and then they want to know. I'm just kidding. You know how artists are. There's always something dramatic about an artist, a painter. So I'm just joking. But it would be a picture book. I won't say much. I'll just say where I grew up and all that stuff, and then I let it go, and then talk about some of the celebrities and models, and then gossip about somebody behind their back. But that would be probably while I'm typing and having a 40. But I'm always having fun, so.
Alvaro, thank you so much for talking to So Booking Cool. It's been such a pleasure and delight, and as we agreed, you have to come back on. And, I always welcome my guests to give any final thoughts that they might have.
My final thoughts really always go back to I just really, really wish, cry and pray, and a lot of people always wish this, that we all learned to live with each other and respect each other, and that we all, I would hope to see people catch up with me and one day see people all over every other night going out to just help one homeless person, just one. Just take a break. Just go outside once, just a quarter, or maybe that little sandwich that you didn't eat, or maybe just make a little sandwich, put it in a little paper. Just go outside to that person that's sitting right over there sleeping, wake them up. Oh, we never touch them because you get attacked. And say from far away, "Excuse me, miss," or "Excuse me, sir, are you hungry?" And give just one. Like I do every other night. I go out for half an hour and I search for them. If we can just do that, I'm going to get emotional and cry. It would really make me happy.
Yeah, what a beautiful soul. And also, how can people keep up with you, Alvaro, and more info about your exhibit? Because that's going to be the place to be.
Yes, well, they can always, if you don't mind, if I can give my Instagram.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I actually got into Instagram because David Bowie and Iman told me that I should get on it.
Yes, you should. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll just stay on Facebook. And then they said, no, you got to get on Instagram. And it's a pain because I don't work on it enough. Like other people are obsessed with it, but I have so many other stuff to do that I don't get all, in it. I'm trying, but then I sit off. But anyway, it's ALV as in Victor, ARO, my name, Alvaro _arts, ARTS. And on there, I post stuff. And for a whole month, anyone that's in New York or New Jersey or Connecticut or Philadelphia, they want to come and see my show. It will be at Casa Gallery, and I think it's on 51st Street between 11th and 12th Avenue on the second floor. And that's it. And hopefully people will get into the Picasso and the Basquiat especially. And most important, the Harriet Tubman as liberty. I hope that message gets through to everyone's heart. That tells people this is who we have to be. We all should have Harriet Tubman inside us.
Listeners, and I'm sure you get that sense from Alvaro anyway, like that Harriet Tubman inside us, giving back, right? Community.
Saving, helping,
yeah.
Because you know what? When you help someone, like when I have done stuff for, I've always done charity stuff. I've given money for animals in Africa. We have 2 elephants. We have 2 baby elephants. If somebody helped something somewhere every single day, just something somewhere, like adopt an animal, or even gave a quarter to someone, you're doing something. And then just one, even if it's 5 cents, because 5 cents from 10 people, you know what I mean? You have more. But we all have to do something, and we have to always think about, before Martin Luther King, we have to think about Harriet Tubman. This is why I love women so much. There's nothing, I think that this is the reason why God is the greatest artist. You know why? Because he created woman. There is nothing more beautiful than women. Nothing. All women, all colors, all sizes.
Yeah.
There is nothing, there is no art more beautiful than women. We owe everything to women.
Yeah, that's where the life starts.
That's where everything is.
Yeah.
So, on that note, dear.
Yeah. So thank you to all the listeners, and until next time, so booking cool.